Well, let's fill in some sky. Get a little yellow ochre. Bit of white. Just a touch of cad yellow pale. Oh, and you know, it's a really noisy day. They're harvesting corn, so let me just close the window for a little while. That should help quite a bit. Alright. Let's get some color in here. That might be a little too high a value right off the bat. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I know I'm using a much bigger brush than I should. In a way. Or am I? You know, maybe this will just keep things loose. It's more frustrating because it makes painting more difficult. But it does keep things looser. It forces you to. Well, I don't know about you. It forces me to. Very soft bristles. This is a flat, long, what is this, a number 8? I think so. Yeah, it's an 8. And because the bristles are so long, and I'm not adding any medium to my paint, we have we don't have the ability to apply too much pressure to the brush, which really just means that more of the warp and the weft of the canvas will show through. Now, as I get to the right, I may just I'll just add, you know, like 1/1000th of a molecule of raw umber, just to knock that chroma down a little bit. I'm, for the moment, laying a line across there reasonably, oh, not too straight, just repeating this line here. I think there's no harm in doing that. For the moment, I can change it. I can change it if I see, if I find that it's needed, and if I don't, I won't. But we're not going to worry about it right now. Procrastinate. Things you don't have to worry about right now, don't worry about them later. What am I going to do here? I think, like, this is going to be fairly purple. We're going to use we're going to use, rather than very interesting shapes here, we're going to use more chroma, fairly warm temperatures and values to make this interesting, because it's surrounded by all kinds of different shapes. We still need to draw the main attention off into the distance. I don't want most of the attention to be sort of circumnavigating the focal area. That focal area has to stand strong. You know, what if I were to... I don't mean 2 years old, I just... That's awfully straight. Awfully straight. Okay, that's a little rougher. Do I want to go redder up here? I don't think so. Let me just add a little more ultramarine, no, not ultramarine blue, raw umber. And a tiniest little bit of ultramarine blue. Because that's going to knock things down a fair bit again. Let's just see how that works out when we get into the larger area here. Oops, picking up junk. As small as the sky is, I still think that it would like to have some variety. Okay, that's okay. I think it's a little bit dull for me to carry this color up right across the canvas. So we're going to go back to, I'm still working in the same pile, but I'm adding a little more yellow ochre again. I'm working off the edge of my pile. I'm not trying to change the color of the entire pile the whole time. That was a bit round. Now let's add a bit of white to that. Okay, it's a little cooler, but I think it works. Let me just, this is going to be a bit shaky, but I'm going to do it because I think you might find it beneficial. Okay, let's have a peek at this. Okay, that's the color that I've mixed. Okay, oh, come on camera. Settle down. You can see that I have almost straight yellow ochre here. I have yellow ochre, raw umber, and a bit of ultramarine blue here. So I took white and I added that to a bit of this and a bit of this. So now I have this area. That's what I'm playing with right now. It's a little cooler because of the raw umber and the ultramarine blue, but it's high enough in value that we're not getting too dark. I don't want to get too dark in the sky. But at the moment, see, I can pick from here, I can pick from here, I can pick from here, or I can continue to add various or additional colors or more of of the same colors into different areas and just play with it. So it's like we have sort of a central area, and we pull away from it, and we pull our different values, our different tones, and our different temperatures away from it as we work. Once the sky is done, I will just clean this off and remake a fresh mixing pile for, well, I'm probably just going to jump into the water next. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that briefly. Okay, back up to reality here. Sorry about this very amateur way of doing things, but when it comes to videography, amateur is what I am. And that's okay with me. You know, it'll improve, but it'll be slow. Professional painter, terrible videographer. Okay, go back to our yellow ochre again. We'll add a bit of white to that. You know, there's no really strong lines in the sky. It's just sort of a, you know, I've decided to get rid of this line and just sort of make a textural, subtly textural sky. Okay, I'm going to give my brush a wipe here. I'm going to go back into straight yellow ochre and a hint of white as I carve around these bits. We'll curve this trunk off to the right a little bit as we get to the top. I think that just makes it a little more interesting. You know, they're such subtle things, but I really am a big believer in the importance of subtlety, even though you don't necessarily want your painting to look as though you were intending to be too subtle. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Now let me give my brush a little clean here. Well, not clean, I'm just going to squeeze out most of the color that I have in here and rinse it in terps and clean that out. Now I want a clean spot on my palette. And let's grab a little bit of titanium white and a little bit of cad yellow pale. Okay, and let's make something a little bit stronger. As you can see, it's mixing into the paint that I have on there already. That's okay. I don't mind that. In fact, that's what I'm going for. I want to feather it in a little bit. Okay, just a hint. Just a hint of this branch being connected to this branch with a bit of light instead of dark. But this upsweep counters this downsweep, this downsweep. Just a small thing. Probably wouldn't matter. I'm doing it anyway. Because sometimes I just don't have the brains not to do it. Okay, let's just stop. Let's leave this guy. Yes, of course I'm talking to myself. Now I'm going to clean off my mixing pile on the palette. So, you know, what I've used now is yellow ochre, raw umber, touch of ultramarine blue, a bit of cad yellow pale, and a bit of titanium white. You know, the main constituents really are, of course, titanium white and yellow ochre. And ever so gently bent that color to warm and to cool. High value, low value, you know, and change the temperature a little bit, but very subtly, you know. Just trying to give variety. Even though it's a small space, it still needs a bit of variety. Let's go to the water now. The water, I'd like to have the same general palette as the sky. I'm not going to do the hills yet. But I think we'll take it down a notch because, you know, we have our light coming from the sky. The water is a combination of reflective of the sky, but refractive of the water. So we're going to go a little greener, a little darker. I'd like to stay warm. So we're going to go with same colors, just lower values, really. That's what it comes down to. I did not mix enough. Okay, let's see here. We're going fairly umbery here. That's okay, I don't mind. Same idea. We're not going to have a direct pattern in the water yet. I'm just filling it in, trying to make it a little look a little bit textural, and then I'll lay in some highlights in the form of fairly strong light strokes. Is awfully dark. I don't want to go too dark. I just want to, I think I'd rather just cool it off. So let's cool it off. I'm going to go greener, but we're going to cool it off a little bit. Bits of junk in my paint here, as usual. Okay, I'm going to suggest a line right across here. Okay, below that line will stay darker. Above that line will stay lighter. So for the moment, it's still too dark. Let me give my brush a wipe just to squeeze the excess paint out of it. I'm not going to dip it in the turpentine. Not really going to clean the brush, as it were. I'm just going to try to get to a little higher value, a little warmer colors, more yellow ochre. As you can see, I'm not depositing a lot of paint on the canvas right now. I'll save that till later. The second coat, and when I say the second coat, I don't mean I'm going to coat the whole area with another coat. I just mean that I'm going to go over the areas that need it with some more paint. Afford to go a little higher value here, because we are below this, right? So this time, and I don't always do this, but this time I'm going to not be afraid to raise. Okay, let's soften that line. I don't want any hard lines just yet. I'll wait. Oh, that's pretty wet there yet. Ugh. I'm getting messy. Okay. Let's not spend too much time on that. Yeah, I did just lay a few darker lines in here. So, unfortunately, I'm picking that up, and I don't want The only way to cover it is to lay my paint on thick, and I'm not interested in laying my paint on thick right now. I'm going to let it set, dry up a little bit. Come back to it. Okay, I think we'll leave that for now. We will talk to you very soon.